I'd like to read a little excerpt out of the Authorized Texas Rangers Cookbook. The authors also added some informational history in their cookbook. This is just titled Old Time Rangers on Scout is the picture, and the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers were born in 1823 when Stephen F. Austin, known as the Father of Texas, hired 10 men to protect his colony and paid them out of his own pocket. Now, we already know that Texas was not a state at that time, so they were known as just the Rangers. But for this article, we'll go ahead and call them the Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers from 1823 on have protected Texans and their property from Indians, Mexicans, bandits, and any other enemy. Before being hired a ranger, you had to answer 3 questions. Can you ride? Can you shoot? And can you cook? These were the elements required to make him self-sufficient. Rangers had to learn to ride like a Mexican, trail like an Indian, shoot like a Tennessean, and fight like the devil. Indian Chief Quanah Parker, the last great Comanche chief, said, "Rangers don't fight like white people." The rebel Texas government approved the original organization of a corps of gunmen in 1835. This corps was called Texas Rangers. It set up 3 companies, each to be headed by a captain with 1st and 2nd lieutenants. A major was the overall head of the organization. The captains and major were elected by popular vote of the delegates. Privates were enlisted for 1 year at $1.25 a day. Each ranger had to furnish his own horse, saddle, bridle, gun, and 100 rounds of ammunition. The ranger carried only the bare necessities: a blanket, a little buckskin leather pouch for salt, parched corn, and tobacco, a canteen, rope, and ammunition. Of course, all carried a rifle, a pistol, and a knife. Other than these essential items, they had to live off the land. Sometimes this created a problem. The old-timers said before the Rangers came, the Indians carried off their children. After the Rangers came, something carried off their pigs and chickens. Until the 1840s, the Indians had a real advantage over the men with guns. An Indian could get off a lot of arrows from a horse while a man with a gun was on the ground reloading. When a reliable repeating pistol was developed, the Rangers learned to shoot from horseback at full speed. The old-time Rangers had to have a lot of sheer guts to do the things they did. They nearly always fought under adverse circumstances when severely outnumbered. They had to be without fear to fight under the conditions that usually existed. So great was their reputation that Sam Houston said, "You could withdraw every regular soldier from the border of Texas if you would give her but a single regiment of Texas Rangers." There was no other organization like the Rangers, whether it be an army or local law enforcement organization. The Rangers always stepped in to handle situations that others couldn't. They were always there, whether it be military insurrections, corruption in local law enforcement, gangsters, union problems, or whatever. They were all taken in stride. That's just a part of an article that goes on to talk about the Texas Rangers all the way up into the 20s, 1935. Very, very interesting. Here's a little story about Quanah Parker and his wives. Quanah Parker was the son of a captured white woman named Cynthia Ann Parker. I think most of us that know anything about Texas history have heard about Cynthia Ann Parker. She became the wife of Chief Peter Nakona. At the Battle of the Peace River in 1860, Peter Nakona was killed by Captain Sul Ross. Cynthia Ann was returned to her white family. She had forgotten how to speak English and never readapted to the white man's way of life. She grieved herself to death after about 10 years. As a young man, Quanah Parker was among the Comanches who raided along the Llano Estacado in the area of Fort Richardson, Fort Belknap, Fort Bliss, Fort Stockton, and Fort Griffin. These are all forts that I hope to be able to visit those areas over the coming weeks and months. Some of the forts are still in pretty good condition. In a battle on the Red River, Quanah Parker was chosen as leader of the tribe after the death of Chief Bear's Ear. In August of 1871, General Ranald S. McKenzie set out to punish the Comanche. Quanah Parker and a group of braves stole all of the general's horses. When Quanah Parker was finally subdued by the Texas Rangers, they told him he would have to tell his wives that he couldn't keep but one of them. His answer was, "You tell him." This book has got some awful good recipes in there, the way they had to cook things back in those days. And that's one of the things that I'll be doing throughout my YouTube channel is I'm going to be carrying the basics, sleeping on the ground. Also, I'll be putting some of these recipes, although they might not be cooking them out on the side of the trail. We'll put some of these recipes into action, and I hope y'all will enjoy that. During this post today, I'm just going to have a few pictures that you guys may enjoy. Some of them will be from some of this book, and some of them will be from some other places that I've found. So anyway, be sure, like, subscribe, and keep on coming back. We put a post out every Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Thanks.